All right, Shalom, Shalom. I'm Yahawah coming at you with another lesson straight out of the last 10 camp of Yahawah. But before I get started with this lesson, I would like to give all praise to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son. In their proper two names, we're going to start off by saying Ka, Halayim, La, Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rekah, Kodash, Ma'amah. Definitely want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Jim Messon, the elder. Definitely want to give double honors to my elder apostle, Yahawah. Banyas of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the Lions Den Camp, and to the men and women and children that believe in the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Shalom. All right, today's lesson is going to be based off of Russia and Ukraine. All right, allegedly, Russia has, Putin's resident, right, allegedly was targeted by Ukraine. All right, so we're going to get into that a little bit. All right, now this is all alleged because these are claims that Russia is making against Ukraine. All right, and this was posted 7 hours ago by Jason Hall. All right, so again, we have to always remember that Yahawah Bahashim Yahweh Shai is in control of things, man. All right, so at the end of the day, the people can always bring up peace, peace, peace. All right, but Yahawah Bahashim Yahweh Shai has things already written, and things that had to be played out. All right, and all for His Son to be to come down and bring judgment on the world, man. All right, and to be over the world and rule and be king. All right, and be in his rightful position. All right, so again, matter of fact, let's grab precept real quick. So like you had all this trash up. Let's get into, let's go here real quick. That's not what I'm looking for. All right, so we just have to remember, man, all right, that the Lord is in control at all times, man. This is Proverbs 21:1, and it reads, all right, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right, Yahawah, as the river of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Man. All right, so again, all these men in high places that are ruling over countries, all right, that are in leadership positions, presidents and foreign ministers, stuff, all these kings, right, in high places. And for Vladimir, you got Zelensky, you got Putin, you got, Kim Jong-un, Netanyahu, Jinping, Trump, so on and so on. All right, the Lord is controlling all of this, man. All right, controlling their hearts, all right, to bring forth prophecy. All right, let's go to. Let's go. I should have had these in order, Slacky. Right, so let's go to Ezekiel 38 real quick. All right, this is Ezekiel 38:1. All right, and it reads, and the word of the Lord Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against, all right, Gog, the land of Magog, right, which is going into Russia and the Russians, all right, and President Putin being that head man over Russia, all right, future prophecy, all right, Ezekiel 38, all right, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, right, and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, all right, so we're prophesying against Gog and Magog. All right, just explained who they were. All right, verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord power, right, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. Right, but what did he say? I am against thee, though. All right, it says, verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, right, putting hooks into who jaws, right, Gog and Magog, right, Putin, all right, and their army. All right, it says, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen. All right. And we see Putin, all right, on the front lines right now, man, with Ukraine. All right. Trying to bring back that Soviet Union, man, as well as working with the rest of the BRICS nation, right? China, so on and so on, to start their own currency. My elder just dropped a video on that, right? To basically remove Babylon out the way, man. All right. They're no longer trying to sit behind the scenes, man. All right. But again, this is all because the Lord has hooks into Putin's jaws, man. Meaning he's controlling him just like how you control a horse. Right. It says, I will bring thee forth, right, bringing him forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, and even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right. So the Lord is bringing and strengthening Russia, right, and the BRICS nations, right. This is what verse 5 goes into, verse 6 going into, all these countries, man, going into the BRICS nations, what they would be called today, right? It says, verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, right? Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmets. We've done videos on these. All of these people are already a part of the BRICS nation, right? Gomer, all his bands, the house of Togomor, right, of the North Quarters, as my elder was just going into Saturday about Turkey making plans to leave NATO. All right. I've done video on this in the past. All right. But it's looking more concrete as time goes on. All right. But that's part of prophecy that they would, basically, no longer be a part of NATO, but be joined up with the BRICS. All right. That's what Ezekiel 38 is going into, the Lord using Russia, all right, and his surrounding neighbors to, to go around and do his bidding, all right? And his bidding would be to go against America and the state of Israel, all right? All right, then the 48ers, all right? But it says, and when I say the 48ers, meaning the people, the false people that's in our land, a bastard that dwells in Ashdod, right? The false people that's in our land, all right? While we are over here dwelling safely, right, at the moment, as you look around the world, there's a lot of chaotic stuff going on in the world, right? It's Jacob's trouble still, for us too as well, as you see what's going on with the Northern Kingdom, all right, up in Chicago, so on and so on, all right? But anyways, back to it. It says, verse 6, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomor of the North Quarter, and all his bands, and many people with thee, right? But here's the point. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou, right? See, all, right? It says, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, right? And as you see, Putin and them, how they're number one on the charts of nuclear missiles, right? Right behind them is the United States and then China, right? Then North Korea's on the list as well, man. But all excluding America, man, all of them are under the BRICS nation, under Gog and Magog, all right. And then it goes into just dealing with the prophecy. Right, goes into verse 8. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people, right, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Right. Then it goes into us over here in America and the state of Israel being attacked, as well as a thought coming into Putin's mind. It's coming from the Lord, all right, to come against America, all right. But that was the point, though, to be thou prepared, right, and prepare for thyself, which that's prophecy that we are seeing today, the BRICS nation being built up, all right, as well as verse 4, right, being the main point, all right, as far as the Lord using Putin, right. We just read that the Lord controlled the hearts of the kings, just like he did with Pharaoh, all right. All these things, man. They can talk peace, 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 right? But the Lord is in control of everything, man. All right. We just have to remember, even, you know, that's another one, man. War. Let me put that. There we go. So like it. Ooh. All right. All right. So this is Psalm 55. All right. And 21. All right. It says, "The words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words was softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man." All right. So just grabbing that because once we go back into the article, right? Somebody's lying about something, man. You know, Russia's making claims that um, Ukraine attacked Putin's residence, which is just going to cause Putin to, basically strike back. And in the article, it goes into how Ukraine is saying they didn't do anything, like it's all fabricated, right? So somebody's lying. Right? War is in somebody's heart, and which I already know who that is. Personally, I'm not sure if the strike happened or not, but the point is that the Lord is controlling Putin and the Russians. All right, he's controlling Putin, right? So war is in Putin's heart, man, right now. All right, so let's get back to the article. It says Russian claims Ukraine attacked Putin's residence. All right. It says Kremlin officials claim that Ukraine attacked Russia's President Vladimir Putin's residence with more than 90 drones, all of them, sorry. It says all of which were shot down during an attack that carried into the early hours of Monday, December 29th morning. It says the New York Post reports the claims were made by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei, who claimed that the Kremlin would now review its negotiation position, right, to potentially end its nearly 4-year invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky denied the alleged attacks as a complete fabrication, man. All right, so somebody capped that, man. Somebody is lying. So, all right. All right, but ultimately that war is in Putin's heart right now, man. All right, so I'm not sure if the attacks happened. Not saying they did. I'm not saying they didn't. All right, all of this is still alleged. All right, but war is in Putin's heart, man. All right, it says denied the alleged attacks as a complete fabrication made as a justification, right, for retaliation strikes following his meeting with President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Sunday, December 28th, and says, quote, Russia is at it again using dangerous statements to undermine all achievements of our shared diplomatic efforts with President Trump's team. It says, end quote. Zelensky wrote on his X account, we keep working together to bring peace closer. This alleged, right, quote, resident strike, end quote, story is a complete fabrication intended to justify additional attacks against Ukraine, including Kyiv, I always mess that up, Kyiv, however you say that shit, excuse me, as well as Russia's own refusal to take necessary steps to end the war. Typically, Russian lies, right? Furthermore, the Russians have already targeted Kyiv, all right, in the past, including the cabinet of ministers, all right, building. Ukraine does not take steps that can undermine diplomacy. To the contrary, Russia always takes such steps. This is one of many differences between us. It is critical that the world doesn't stay silent now. We cannot allow Russia to undermine the work on achieving a lasting peace, man. All right. Because it's all about the Lord controlling things, man. All right. And right now war is in Putin's heart, man. It's all right. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, man, but war was in his heart, man. All right. as there have been talks and about and meetings about Russian and Ukraine ending the war. All right, but you see that each time something happens right afterwards, which keeps the war continuing. All right, so like I didn't mean to do that. Again, the Lord is controlling everything, man. All right, let's go to Psalms 58. All right, all right, so but yeah, it says Zelensky had previously revealed that the United States is currently offering a 15-year security guarantee as part of a plan to end Russia's years-long invasion following his meeting with Trump on Sunday and prior to reports of alleged strikes targeting Putin's residence on Monday. The Ukrainian president answered questions on WhatsApp regarding his meeting at Trump Resort and said he told President that he'd like for the guarantee to be extended to up to 50 years, man. All right, but Vladimir like, bro. Like we, like we crank that up. We need security, man. You see what Russia's over there doing. You see, they are very powerful right now, man. All right, dealing with their even their economy. All right, all these sanctions they thought they would have been in this bad case dealing with America, man. Russia is doing mighty well, man. They have a lot of allies, right, that are very powerful as well. All right, that you know. But anyway, it says, quote, I believe that the presence of international troops is a real security guarantee. It is a strengthening of the security guarantees that our partners are already offering us, he added. It says Trump claimed we have the makings of a deal following his meeting with Zelensky on Sunday, but warned millions, right? More people will be killed in the ongoing invasion by Russia if one isn't reached soon. It says, quote, I do believe that we have the makings of a deal. It's good for Ukraine, good for everybody. It's very important, right? End quote. Trump told reporters while standing next to Zelensky outside the entrance for his resort's main dining room via the New York Post. It says, quote, there's nothing more important, he claimed. I solved 8 wars, right? He's solving 8 wars, but he's starting other wars, big ones too. Right? He just, if I'm not mistaken, I have to read the article, but I did see that he actually did strike Venezuela, right? Either yesterday or the day before, but I might get into that later on this week. It says, I have solved 8 wars, and this is the most difficult one, right? It's the most difficult because who is in control? Right? It ain't you, buddy. It says millions of an additional people will be killed, millions, and no one wants that, Trump added. The meeting was believed to be a sign of significant progress in negotiation on a peace deal, with Trump having previously said he'd only meet with Zelensky if he felt an agreement was close to being reached. The Ukrainian president shared on an update on his X account Friday, December 26th morning, following a briefing from his top negotiator. It says Rustem, if I said that right, reported on his latest contacts with the American side. We are not losing a single day. We have agreed on a meeting at the highest level with President Trump in the near future. A lot can be decided before the new year. Glory to Ukraine, Zelensky wrote. Trump advisor Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, had previously met with top negotiators from both Russia and Ukraine one weekend prior after several meetings during the past 2 months. A senior U.S. official described the ongoing negotiation between Umirov and Russia's envoy Kirill Dmitriev as positive and constructive last week. Quote, we've gone as far as possible with Russians and the Ukrainians, with the Russian and the Ukrainians. We made more progress in the last 2 weeks than the last year. We want to push the ball into the goal. We're heading in the right direction, the U.S. official said, right? But again, you know, if they did strike Putin's home, you best believe Putin ain't finna lay down. And if Putin is capped out about this, which they're all a bunch of liars, all right? If he's capped out about this, either way it goes, the window is open now for him to attack, right? To push harder, all right? You know, if this man's house is blew up, even if he did it himself, all it's gonna do is make this war get very hot. It's gonna get super hot now. All right, back to Psalms 58:3, and it reads, all right, right. This is Psalms 58:2, and it reads, Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, yet ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, man. All right, and this is dealing with the 2/3 of our people, right? But especially the heathens, man. All right, dealing with Ottawa. So like I'm gonna say Esau. I might said his name wrong in the Hebrew, but we just gonna go with E. All right, dealing with them, dealing with the Temans and the Amaleks. All right, that's them out of Esau. Right, that's with Russia and America. Right, Ukrainians. They all a bunch of liars anyway, and they all wicked, man. All right. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. All right, break their teeth, O power, in their mouth. Break out their great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. Right. So again, this is really going into 2/3 of our people. But the heathen are born wicked and speaking lies off rip, man. All right. So I just want to go into that, man, because this can go into more so like they speaking lies into the doctrine, but the wicked are speaking lies. Period, man. That's just what's in them. That's Lord, there is no truth in them ever, man. They are like a snake that will bite you at any time. They will feed you lies, right? They will smile in your face. All right, and stab you right in your back. All right, we were just reading that in Proverbs 12:6. The words of the wicked are to lie, right, and wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. It's like, I don't know if I brought this. I meant to bring this up. All right, but this Proverbs 12:6. The words of the wicked are to lie in and wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them, man. All right. Ooh. Come on, my fingers. That's why I hate using this phone. Slacky, y'all. That precept popped in my mind. I got. You know what? Pump it. I'm not even gonna worry about it. All right. go to Ezekiel 35. All right. Right. That's right. Let's go to Ezekiel 35, and we start at the top. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Right? Who dwelt in Mount Seir? All right. The Edomites, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, right? Yahawah, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force. And that's going to happen again, just like we was going over in Ezekiel 38. All right, when the BRICS, right, come against America, right, as the Israelites are over here in America, most of us are over here in the Americas, all right. Um, but they always had their hands on us, man. Going all the way back from the time where we was crossing the Red Sea, all the way up to 7 AD, all the way to now, man. All right, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. All right, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Right. So again, the Lord is preparing them unto blood. Right, just like as we was reading Ezekiel 38, right? He's preparing them to get ready for Armageddon, all right? World War III, all right? Nuclear destruction, all right? He's gonna have them crank all this stuff up, man. He have them build them weapons, them ICBMs, all right? And he's gonna have them use them, all right? But prepare thee unto blood, man. All right, so they're prepared unto blood, but we're prepared unto salvation, the everlasting life in the kingdom. All right, being healed and being preserved. All right, right. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, right, which is Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushua, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Right, it shall pursue thee. That's their prophecy, man. All right. Sit if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. All right. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. But that was the point, man. All right. That's that's what they have to look forward to, man. To be full of war and to do the bidding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right. So like, I mean to go to, dang it. What was I? Let's go to Revelations. I had my priests. I don't know where they done went though. Mm, that's messed up. All right, but yeah. So, but that's the prophecy for them, man. That they just like we was reading in Ezekiel 38, right? The Lord's prophesying against Gog and Magog, right? But he's gonna use Gog and Magog, right, to bring forth the third woe. All right. This is Revelations 11-14, right? And it reads, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right? That's what it was. So let's go back to my history here. Go over. All right. Yeah. Yeah, dang. This is Revelation 17:1, and it reads, "And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying," right, saying unto me, "Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters," right, which is Babylon the Great, right, the daughter of Babylon, i.e., um, dang, I can't say certain words, over here on this side of the planet. All right, but this place Babylon, right here where we dwell at. All right, it says, "I will show unto thee the judgment of the great waters, of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, like with whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication." All right, so when you look into that, right, when you go into that, who is this whore that it's talking about? It's talking about Babylon, right? But who has committed fornication with this place, man? Right, right. Who runs the dollar? Right, which has, which is basically the world's currency. Right, what's their religion? You know that they're pushing, and their idolatry. Right, what is their, and they did it all through their military might, man. Right, it says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication," right, pushing all their wickedness upon the whole world, man. All right, it says, "And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication," man. Right? For all the wickedness that they do, man. When you really look into it and you dive deep, a lot of these countries, leaders are connected to each other. Doing, they all have these meetings, and they, collaborate with each other, and to bring forth certain things, usually which is harmful to the people, usually, to fatten their pockets, man. All right. Especially to our people, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? But it's all, for their agenda, for the New World Order, right? Everybody being under one religion, all right, and they're doing it with their currency, right? Just put completely, control of everything, man. All right, this is why you're starting to see the digital world pop up, dealing with digital currency, all across the world. So on and so on, man. It's all about control. You can't even clock in to work without having to show your face. Like if you clock in through your phone, everything it's all about monitoring everything. And you know I mean, the movie's been showing us for years, man, that this is where we was headed, that there is no privacy, that they want to control everything you do, right? But anyway, this is that horror, man, that has deceived the world, and that has everybody under their thumb. Right, it says, "With whom the earth, the kings of the earth, and as with them," though, let me add this in, with them is the state of Israel, man. It's always them. It's always the state of Israel, right, in America, right? That's ran by the major banking families, right? The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, who are also Israelis, all right, or Jewish. All right. It says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with her wine of her fornication," man. All right. All right. I can't believe I lost all my presets. Like, I don't know. I don't see him, but again, this is all to bring forth the prophecy of Yahawah Bashim Yahushua, man. At the end of the day, all right. But the lesson was basically just going in how the Lord is using Putin, and how it can either be allowed or not. It's all alleged right now, where it's basically that Yahawah Bashim Yahushua, has them hooks into Putin's jaws to where he wants to continue having war in his heart, man. Right, keep thinking of this one precept, but I cannot think of the what it says entirely. Right. Yeah, that was it. That's the First Thessalonians, all right, chapter 5, verse 3. And it reads, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Right. So, in other words, the destruction coming, World War III coming, no matter what nobody want to do. The Lord is in control of everything, man. So Zelensky can continue to have peace talks with Trump and ask for security to secure Ukraine. But it's not going to happen, man. At the end of the day, these prophecies have to be played out, man. Not one of them should fail. All right. So Zelensky just got to learn the hard way, man. You can continue to have peace talks, man. But destruction is in the midst, man. It's coming your way, man. Dealing with all of it, man. All these nations going to be put, in correction under Yahawah. And. But again, First Thessalonians 5:3, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child," man. That's that World War III nuclear destruction, and they shall not escape. There's no escape, man. This is Obadiah 1. All right, the vision of Obadiah, "Thus saith the Lord God," right, concerning Edom, right? We were just going into the Russians, Gog and Magog, right? That'll be teeming, as well as Babylon, which is Amalek, as well as the state of Israel, right? All of those stem from that bloodline of Esau, man. The Lord God concerning Edom, "We have heard a rumor from the Lord," right? Yahawah, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. "Arise ye, and let us rise up against her," right, in battle. "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground," right? Ultimately, all right, this has always been the mindset of America, man. All right, Salakia Babylon. All right, but you can still see that same mindset in Putin, all right, in the Russians. All right, they have that mindset that they cannot be taken down. America definitely has to look at Trump. Trump said he gonna think about it. Zelensky asked him straight up, he like, "Bro, I think about it, bro." Like damn, That what Charles Che, it says, "The pride of thy heart have deceived thee," man. All right, verse 4. Right, verse 3. "The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle," right, Babylon, today Babylon, right, "and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord," right, Yahawah. All right, so it's a wrap for all of them, man. All right, it's a wrap for all of them, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to those who need to be edifying too, man. Shalom. And just remember, man, the Lord is Yahawah Bashim Yahushua is in control.